Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Lizzie Spalding at the Marion County Extension Office. And today we're going to make tomato corn pesto pizza.
Yes, a mouthful like always.
It's a plated up recipe, so it's a healthy option, right?
It is. And we got this recipe. It's a fairly new one, and I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, to be quite honest. But I have made it several times, and it is tasty. Some of the ingredients you might think, oh, well, we're going to put that on our pizza, but promise, stick with the recipe, and once you get to the end, it is good.
All right. So tomato corn pesto pizza.
First thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 450 degrees, which I've got that turned on. It's preheating. Might hear that go off in a little bit.
Okay.
Then we have got 3 Roma tomatoes, which are the smaller, more
oval.
Yeah, oval ones, and we are going to slice those.
Okay. So these are some healthy alternatives to some things that might not be as healthy normally. So I guess pizza sometimes isn't quite the healthiest thing, right?
Not always, and I don't know about you or maybe any of the viewers how adventurous you are in your pizza. I don't know, do you get out of...
No.
No?
Do you?
Every now and then we'll try something different. There's a couple pizza places I know that have some different out there kind of pizzas. I'm open to trying things, so that's why I was open to trying this one.
I have had pizza with corn on it.
Have you? I had not before this recipe.
And
so.
that is good, actually. It was sweet corn. Is this sweet corn?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I did like that. I thought that was different.
It's an interesting flavor.
Yes, but it wasn't bad.
So not very big tomatoes, but as you can tell, they're making a lot of slices here.
Absolutely. Now, are tomatoes still in season, or are they kind of out of season by now?
Tomatoes are something that you can still get locally. We were set up at the farmer's market last week, and I heard them saying that they would have more tomatoes this week. So
okay. So if you have the opportunity, shopping local is a great way to both help the local farmers as well as help yourself with some really good quality ingredients.
Now we're going to put out some paper towels. We're going to lay these tomatoes on them. Show you what we're going to do with that. Gary's thinking, oh, what are we doing with the paper towels out? It's going to...
Did we make a mess?
No. Well, this is going to soak up some of that juice. And that's the reason, really, for the Roma tomato. If I had to guess, that's why they use this, is because it's not as much juice. You can see there's not a lot here, so it's not going to get your pizza real soggy. It's going to...
That makes sense.
You know, you've got the flavor of the tomato without all of the juice running everywhere.
Right.
So what we're going to do with those, you're going to take some ground pepper and... Turn one of these off and wipe my hands off. Some ground pepper and some onion powder. You're going to use, it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. There's our oven.
It's
and
ready.
An 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to cheat and not measure these. I'm just going to sprinkle, because that's what you're going to do, is you're going to sprinkle those on top of your tomatoes.
Okay, so that's garlic, did you say?
Onion powder.
That's onion powder, okay. That's good.
Yes, and you're just going to sprinkle those on there and let that sit while we finish the rest of this, so that flavor can get in there.
And it's important to use the powder as opposed to the salt when you're given like onion or garlic, right?
Yes, especially if you don't like a lot of those flavors. If you are not a real big proponent of garlic, definitely don't use the salt, because you're going to get a lot of it, and it's just, you know, for those health reasons, we always want to try to limit the salt. So that's one reason why we're using the onion powder. Still get the flavor without all the sodium.
Okay.
Done that. Next we have got our pizza crust here. We've got a thin crust.
Is that whole wheat?
Pre-made. This one is actually not whole wheat. Now the recipe calls for whole wheat. Our local grocery store did not have a pre-made whole wheat pizza crust, but you could either make one your own homemade, or if you still want to cheat, you could get one of the ones that you can bake, or some groceries will actually have, you know, the pre-made like this whole wheat. So it's one way to get in some more whole grains is with your pizza crust.
Healthier option.
Right. What we're going to do is we're going to put some pesto on this. We're using basil pesto for this recipe. You ever cooked with this before? I had not before making this pizza.
Huh.
You're gonna smell it though.
Uh-huh. Do you like pesto?
I do. And this is gonna be our marinara, if you will, for our
It sounds good.
for our pizza. This is gonna be our sauce that goes on there.
And healthier.
Yes.
You know, the one thing about pesto is it gets in your teeth.
You definitely want to go to the bathroom and look in the mirror after.
But it is flavorful.
Right. And if you're thinking, I've never used that, I don't know where that's at in the grocery store, it is beside, where you would find the pizza crust marinara sauce. It's with that.
Okay.
You're going to mix this up because all this oil is at the top. So you definitely, we had some of this left, so this one was good and mixed up. This is a newer one, so.
And it's pre-mixed basil pesto. Okay.
We're going to use a half.
I guess you could make it yourself.
If you wanted to be really ambitious, yes, you could make
Yeah.
that yourself.
What's in it then? Just basil, olive oil, and other ingredients?
Well, let's see. Not a whole lot here.
Yeah.
Gary wants to know basil, oil, spinach, garlic, Parmesan cheese. So you get a little bit
Parmesan and garlic too then. Okay. Cool.
So we've got, our half cup of that.
Have you ever had a white pizza?
I have not, but it looks delicious.
I like them because I'm not a huge tomato sauce fan.
Right.
So I'd always get it. So actually this basil
So you
I think would be
you're
pretty
going
good.
to like this?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good.
So I'm just going to dump out our half a cup. We've got measure, and we're going to spread that on top of our pizza crust.
Because you're still getting the tomatoes.
Yes, you are going to still get some tomatoes.
Which I like
on there.
tomatoes. I'm just not a tomato sauce lover. I eat it.
So this might be something you want to try, since you think you like this, you like the corn.
That does look good.
It's just something different. People have pizza often. This is just something different to try with your pizza. Spread out there.
Looking good. And it's a healthier alternative.
It is a healthier alternative. So we've got that, and I'm going to set that to the side for a minute. We're going to take our bowl here, and we are going to mix together some of our corn kernels. You're going to use 2/3 cup of that. So we get some of those. This is the part where you're going to kind of be saying, I don't know about that, I think. Bear with me.
Corn is good for you. And you want to make sure you get sweet corn? Does it matter?
Whatever your preference is, you
Okay.
could use. So we've got our 2/3 cup there. You're going to put in with that some grated Parmesan cheese. So we've got that here. Half a cup of it. And that's one of those things that we tend to keep in our fridge, so you probably got that on hand.
Now you have had this before, you said, right?
Yes.
And you liked it?
I did.
Well.
Are you getting kind of apprehensive, Gary?
No. No, it's sounding good.
Who doesn't like Parmesan cheese, right?
I know, exactly. Now cheese, I like all the cheese on the pizza.
You're going to put that in there with your corn.
Okay.
And then the part that I was kind of apprehensive about, I'm not going to lie, is that we're going to mix in some honey with this.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, it is. And I thought, I don't know about that. But you're going to put a tablespoon or a teaspoon of honey, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon.
But what do I know? I mean, I don't know what's in the stuff I eat anyway. It could all have honey in it and I wouldn't know it. But in my head, that's a little different. Because you're getting sweet with your savory-ish.
Yeah, and
things.
you can taste the honey when you eat the pizza, but it's a good
Compliment?
Yes, it very much complements, and we're going to mix this together. It's going to get that Parmesan cheese and your corn stuck together.
Yeah, corn and honey are two other things that you could potentially get locally. Were you saying corn's out of season now because we're doing this in September, however?
Yes, but there was some last week at the farmer's market, so you never know what those, not a whole lot, I won't say there was a lot, but there was some.
Some
Still
potentially
there.
local corn and local honey as well you can get.
Yes.
Honey you can kind of get year round possibly, right? If they have it available.
Yes, it depends on the availability. I know that's something that usually goes fairly quickly at the farmer's market. I bought some earlier this summer. I've almost eaten the whole container myself, so I need to get some.
Besides your tomato corn pesto pizza, what else do you use your honey
I
for?
like honey for breakfast. I like putting it on toast for breakfast.
Oh, really?
So that's my little healthier sweetener that I use.
Okay.
So we've got these good and mixed up. And we're going to put this on our pizza here.
Your pesto pizza.
On our pesto pizza. So we're just going to spread that around.
Yeah, sounds interesting. And remember, we already have the oven heated because you want to have that ready to go
Yes.
when you're ready to stick this stuff in. At 450, was it?
450. Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, that is corn going on top of the pizza.
It is corn, and yes, the pizza is green.
There's nothing wrong with your TV
It's supposed to look
set.
like that.
Like, I think the colors are wrong on this TV set.
So after we get that on, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to top this with our tomato slices. So you're just going to, place those around.
With our Roma tomatoes that have been seasoned with
Pepper and onion powder.
onion powder. Right. I was going to say garlic again. Yeah, I just have garlic on the mind. But onion powder is good too.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, that was just 3 tomatoes, but as you can see, covers your pizza. So even though you're not getting a marinara sauce, you are still getting some tomato taste on there. You can see too, even though those tomatoes weren't very juicy, that there still is some juice soaked up on those paper towels. So that has done its job.
Good job.
Move that out of the way. We're getting closer to it being done.
Looking good.
It is. I think so. The last little thing we're going to put on there before we put it in the oven is some mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
You're going to use 4 ounces, which is about half of this bag, and we're just going to put it on the top.
Yeah, cheese is good.
You've got to have cheese. You've got the Parmesan cheese on there, but you've got to have the mozzarella cheese if you're going to have pizza, right?
I think so.
I think so too, but I love cheese. So we've got about half the bag on there. And what we're going to do now that our oven is preheated, we're going to stick this in there, bake it for about 12 to 14 minutes. Really, you just want your cheese on top to get melted and for that to get heated thoroughly a little bit. You're not really having to cook anything, but when you heat it, it's going to bring out those flavors, and it's going to be really tasty whenever we get that out.
And it's going to be the tomato corn pesto pizza. And it's a plated up recipe, and if you want a copy, you can contact Lizzie, right?
Yes. You can contact us or look on the Kentucky Proud website. Their plated up recipes are also on there. And whenever you do get this out of the oven, it is optional. You can put some fresh basil on there as well. Bring out some flavor in that.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, this has been Gary White at the Marion County Extension Office with Lizzie Spalding.